again, and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. And today I'm going to talk about The Doors, LA Woman. Now, this is the first time, kind of the first time I've talked about The Doors. It's the first time I've done a Doors album years ago, 4 years ago, maybe, when I first started kind of, doing these things, standing here in my apartment talking about music. I used to go through bands' whole discographies, and I did do The Doors' whole discography, so I at least touched on, or maybe touched upon, LA Woman. But today is going to be the first time I'm going to focus on one album, and it is going to be LA Woman. And I've got it right here with the rounded corners, which I'm not too sure about. Maybe I'll mention that. But so because it is the first time that I'm talking about the Doors album, I will talk about the Doors, my history with the Doors, my overall thoughts on the Doors, and specifically this record. You can file the Doors for me under, you may know, faithful viewers who are paying attention, which I think is Mike Pratt and Kirk Desmond. Maybe Dallas knows too. Maybe Damien down there in Australia. Maybe they know. Maybe a few more. I hated Led Zeppelin. I hated Neil Young. This is when I was a teenager, even into my 20s maybe. Hated Led Zeppelin, Neil Young. Hated Bon Scott era AC/DC, and I hated the Doors. And at some point, I think it was around, if I can remember, and just because I don't know why, I think because for me, they were a little bit, too old for me, or they came a little bit before me. I was born in 1969, so the Doors had been around a few years by the time I was born. And so by the time I was really into music, I was into more, at that time, music that was, a little bit newer. And to me, the Doors were like the band that, or one of the bands, and Led Zeppelin too, that the older kids listened to. When I was, 15, it was the 17, 18-year-olds that were listening to the Doors. And I just didn't like them. I thought their music was, I just didn't think it was interesting. I thought it was, hippie-ish. I just didn't like it. And I guess what kind of got me into the Doors, I went to LA, I went to Hollywood in March 1989, coming up on, is that 35 years? It'll be 35 years soon that I took that trip. And my best friend at the time, this guy called Pete, he was pretty much in the same music as I was, and he also hated the Doors, at least in a few years before that I knew him. We became friends, good friends, in 1985. And he didn't like the Doors either. But then at some point he got into the Doors. And I guess during that trip to LA or to Hollywood in 1989, I think he was listening to the Doors. And that kind of got me maybe inspired to listen to the something. And I bought and I read the book. What was that book called? No One Here Gets Out Alive. And I also read another one called Wonderland. Was it called Wonderland Avenue by Danny Sugarman, who was that guy? Was he Jim Morrison's friend or something? But so I read at least No One Here Gets Out Alive before I even had ever bought a Doors record. Maybe Wonderland Avenue by Danny Sugarman was later. This album specifically, it's funny, during the, I had a live stream last week, and somebody in the live stream asked me, we were talking about, my favorite albums ever. And, people were trying to guess some of them. And somebody said a Kiss record, or Rat, or something like that. And I mentioned that for me, Kiss, I mentioned Kiss and Rat, and I didn't know if I mentioned in the live chat, but I'll mention now Motorhead. Those are three bands that I love, three of my real top favorites, Kiss, Rat, and Motorhead. But I think of them more as catalog bands. I like their catalog as a whole. None of those three bands, I think, have one album except for Kiss Alive. I'm talking about studio albums, because Kiss Alive is probably my favorite record ever. But none of those bands, I love their whole catalogs. They don't have one album that I like so much that stands out above all the rest that I would put in my unofficial list of top 10 records ever. And if I explain that properly, the Doors are the opposite of that. I like the Doors. They're pretty good. Actually, they have some great stuff. This record, LA Woman, totally stands out above, all the others. The first album, and Soft Parade, and Morrison Hotel. LA Woman is just amazing. What else is like that? There are a few. The Cult, Electric. The Cult is okay, but Electric is unbelievable. Suicidal tendencies, join the army is like that. I was never into them too much before, never into them too much after, but Join the Army is possibly top 10, top 15 records ever for me. Automatic for the People, I only bought a couple of REM albums, and actually only two. I bought Automatic for the People and Monster. Never get into Monster, never even liked them enough to buy anything else, but oh my God, Automatic for the People is just incredible. So LA Woman is one of those records. The record itself really stands out in the band's catalog. Yeah, and it's amazing to think for me, and I don't know if I can explain this or if anybody will know what I'm talking about, even if I can explain it. This album came out in 1971. I think of it as such a much older album. So this came out in 71. Paranoid, the first Black Sabbath album came out in early 1970. Paranoid came out also at some point in 1970. Master of Reality came out in 71. I'm not sure when, and I'm not sure when LA Woman came out, but at some point, LA Woman, the Black Sabbath, who I think of as a more modern band, they had 3 albums, maybe close to for sure. Maybe a third one, Master of Reality, came out before or around the same time as LA Woman. As I said, I'm not sure the month either of those came out, but Master of Reality, the third Black Sabbath album, came out the same calendar year as LA Woman. And it's just, LA Woman just seems like an old man album, and Black Sabbath still seems fresh to me. And it's not a knock, because as I said, I love LA Woman. It's not my top 10 of all time. Maybe it's in the top 30, maybe, which is a lot. I bought maybe 2,000 records in my life. Now, I really can't say how much I love LA Woman. Yeah, and I'll go through it now, track by track. Now, as I said, this it has rounded corners. I'm not sure why, but the corners are round. I don't know if it was. And I had a prop today. I forgot to mention the prop. Now, I did have. I've done this a few times. Haven't done it for a while. I did have this on CD, and I got this out earlier today just to look at it. And I used to, as I mentioned, I used to sometimes show the CDs, and I kind of don't care about that. But I used to back then. I used to write the dates and on everything I bought, on books, on CDs, everything I bought, records I bought. I put the date on it, and I checked this out today, and I've had this longer than I thought. I bought this on February 8th, 1990, which is I'm quite surprised at that, because I got my first CD player for Christmas in 1989. So I'd only had a CD player for less than a month and a half at this point. So this is one of the first CDs that I ever had. I remember the other ones were, the first ones I remember buying were the Ace Frehley 1978 album. And I think on that same day I bought Dirty Looks, Turn of the Screw, I think it was the one. And Lord Tracy, Deaf Gods of Babylon. Those were, I think as far as I can remember, those were the first 3 I had. I think Dirty Looks and AC Baby, Ace Frehley 1978 were the first 2. So I had LA Woman, the CD, many years ago. What's that? Coming up, we're in late January now. This is coming up on 34 years that I've had this CD. So first time having the record. So I'm not sure if the original record had rounded corners, if this is a reissue, and that's why it has rounded corners. But it kind of bothers me that everything is squared corners, and this one has round corners. But so there it is. There's the front and there's the back, and it has a hype sticker here. You can see it. It says featuring, and I'm not sure when this came out. It doesn't say. I don't know, but it says featuring the original stereo mixes, includes LA Woman, Love Her Madly, Riders on the Storm, 180 gram vinyl. It's Rhino vinyl. Rhino, I think, is what do you call it? A subsidiary or a division of Atlantic. And then there's a second kind of a hype sticker there, I guess. It says premium vinyl pressing, HQ 180, RTI record technology. I don't know, whatever. And I can feel that this yellow part, it's an insert. This is kind of like a frame. The burgundy cover is like a frame, and the yellow is an insert. Cadaver had that with Berlin too. The woman on the cover had the glasses, and you could, I guess, when you open the record, and I want that record, you can change, I think, the glasses or something. So I'll see when I open this up, but I guess this is going to be some kind of insert. So I will Open it up now. Gently and properly and with love and compassion, maybe even with care. All right. All right. There we go. Oh, it's very nice. The yellow is actually quite kind of shiny. Oh, it's actually pretty cool. I don't know if the camera can pick up how it looks, but let me see. On the original CD did not have the lyrics, so I'm gonna guess this didn't either. Oh, so this is not what I thought. Okay, so there's the yellow. Okay. So the photo is part of it's inside the cover, but it's transparent, and then the yellow behind it. So this is just is it just a plain yellow sleeve, or what is it? What's going on here? Oh, there's this. What am I doing here? So this is what it looks like without the yellow background, and poor packaging. It looks like there's nothing. So this is the yellow. It's just this. And yeah, I don't like this. Come on. Lyrics, pictures, liner notes, something. There it is. All right. Now, something I noticed, and God, I've been listening to this album, as I said, for coming up on 34 years, I guess, in a week or two, or more. That's 34 years since I bought it. As something I only realized, I listened to this just earlier. I often, when I do these episodes, I almost all the time listen to it right before I do it, just to kind of inspire me and motivate me, and like I'm going in fresh, even though sometimes I stumble. So I listened to this about an hour ago, but I listened to it a couple of times last week. And in all these years, the 34 years I've been listening to this record, something that I only noticed, and it's nothing important, but something that I noticed after 34 years. Almost every song on this album, there's one that I can think of that doesn't have it. Maybe there's more. He sings the whatever the song title is. The very first line of the song contains the song title. Do you know what I mean? How many? There are 10 songs on this. Well, I'll see if I can remember how many. Maybe I can count as I go along. The Changling, I think is what they call it, right? The Changling. The Changling does not have that. That's the first song. That's I've lived uptown. I've lived downtown. I've lived all around. But I never been so broke that I couldn't leave town. I'm the changeling. See me change. So he does say that the changeling in that song. I mean, in the song. But the first line does not contain the words the changeling. That's a great song. That's a really cool kind of a funky. You know what? I remember. You might remember it was kind of a novelty song called "Funky Town" by a group called Lips Inc. Not lip sync like lip syncing when you move your mouth like mimicking a song, but lips, labios, and sync. And I guess it's a play on words. And they had a song called "Funky Town," and I don't know if Funky Town reminded me of this. Probably this reminded me of The Changeling, or it might remind me of Funky Town, because I heard The Changeling first, even though it came out. And I had that record, the lip sync Funky Town, not the album, but the single. I had that in 1981, 80, around there. And that funky, or The Changeling, reminded me of Funky Town. All right, cool song. I think The Changeling is an excellent song. I really, as I said, love this album. There's nothing on this album that I don't love. Some I just love more than others. Next is Love Her Madly. Don't you love her madly? Don't you need her badly? That he does say. The very first line of the song is Love Her Madly. So there's one. We'll try to keep track of that. And you know what? This is the first record I think I've ever seen, I just noticed now, where they put the running time of each side. So side 1 is 24:17. And side 2 is 2408. Isn't that interesting? Only 9 seconds difference. So Love Her Madly is the second song. I like that song a lot too. It's kind of a little bit of a fun song. I like it. Next is another one. This is another one where he does say the title of the song in the very first line of the song. Well, I've been down so goddamn long. Very bluesy song. That it looks like up to me. And then in the classic blues thing, he then repeats it. Well, I've been down so very damn long that it looks like up to me. Yeah, good one. I don't really like, and this album is, the next song too is very bluesy, and I don't really like blues music. I don't dislike it. It's just, it's not interesting to me. It doesn't really catch my attention. But this album is quite bluesy, and I love it. And the next, this is another one that the first line of the song contains the title of the song. The cars hiss by my window like the waves down on the beach. That's a very bluesy song. So that's 3 that have the opening line is the title of the song. And I don't know if any other Doors, as I said, I only noticed this in the last few days. I don't know if any other Doors songs are like that. Cars Hiss By My Window has that cool at the end of it, the last 30 or 40 seconds has that cool. At first listen, it might sound like a kind of like a guitar wailing, but I guess it's a voice. I don't think it's a talk box, but it's presumably Jim Morrison, and he's kind of sounds like he's singing a guitar solo. And oh my God, I gotta put this down to talk about this next song. The last song on side 1 is the title track, LA Woman. For me, one of the greatest songs. I don't have an official list. I've said this before, but LA Woman is maybe in the, for me, top 10 greatest songs ever. Oh, I just can't get enough of this song. It's long, it's got changes, it's got a cool intro, the motor, the engine revving. It's got a build up, it's got a slow down, Mr. Mojo rising. I sang this song at my wedding, like at karaoke. I sang it before somewhere at a party with the band or something. Just a fun song. Great guitar in this song. You don't really think of the Doors as really as a guitar band, but there's some great guitar in this. Yeah, LA Woman is just, I can't get enough of that song. This is by far, obviously, my favorite, not just on this album, but my favorite Doors song, and maybe one of my, as I said, top 10. Don't hold me to that, but top 10 songs ever. Just LA Woman, the song is, just so good. I wish I were more articulate, that I could express myself why I think it's such a good song, or I wish I had more musical knowledge to explain it, but it's just a great song. Well, I just got into town about an hour ago. Took a look around, see which way the wind blows. With a little girl in a Hollywood bungalow. Are you a lucky little lady in a city of light? Or just another lost angel? City at night. City at night. Yeah. LA Woman, title track. Fantastic. That's how all music should be. So side 2. What a weird song this is. This is maybe, these next 2 songs are maybe my second and third favorites. The first song on side 2 is La America. This is another one where he sings, I took a trip down to La America, where he sings the title of the song in the first line, to trade some beads for a pint of gold. Is it beads or beans? I think for years I thought it was beans, but I'm pretty sure he says beads. And it's so weird. It's so doomy and so dark sounding that the guitar and then the doom, 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 doom. It's really, it's not heavy, but it's just really, really dark. And then all of a sudden, midway, I don't know, whatever, through the song, it get totally changed, and it becomes kind of a happy, almost like a carnival type song. I love it. La America is a amazing, great song. And I'll say the same thing for the next one, Hyacinth House. Maybe I like this. Maybe this is my second favorite. This is such a nice, light, breezy, fun, summery song. That kind of jangling guitar intro. And this is another one where he does sing What are they doing at the Hyacinth House, where he does sing the song title in the opening line. I guess in the opening line it gets your attention, I guess. Why did you throw the Jack of Hearts away? It was the only card in the deck that I had left to play. Love Hyacinth House. Next is Crawling King Snake. Well, I'm the Crawling King Snake. There's another one that so this is how many? What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6 out of 8 where he does name check the song title in the first line of the song. Yeah, Crawling King Snake is good too. Next is The Wasp, Texas Radio and the Big Beat. Well, let me tell you about Texas Radio and the Big Beat. So another one where he sings. God, I'm saying this again. The title of the song and the first line of the song. Wrought Iron Soul. I love that line. Wrought Iron Soul. And the last song is Ride of the Storm. Riders on the Storm. First one again. So that's 8 out of 10 songs that he sings. I find that noteworthy. Maybe you don't. You probably don't. You're probably not even listening to this. What does Mike Pratt think of the Doors? I just realized I haven't name checked Mike Pratt. I have a feeling he probably doesn't like them, maybe even hates them. I think he and I have somewhat similar tastes, or had similar tastes. Mike, are you listening? What do you think of the Doors? So Riders on the Storm. Now this is 7 minutes and 14 seconds. God, I used to hate this song so much. I thought it was just long and boring, and now I love this song, and I think it's long and excellent and interesting, and just it's, you know, I don't smoke weed, but this song makes me wish that I did. This song just sounds like a sounds like one of those songs that would really be enhanced if you were smoking a marijuana cigarette. That's what I think about Riders on the Storm. Possibly, maybe even on acid. I'm not sure, which I've never tried. But yeah, Riders on the Storm, my opinion has done a total 180, I think, since some might say a 360, but it's not. It's a 180. Yeah, Riders on the Storm is an excellent song. Very mellow. I hate to say this word, but it's trippy, man. It's trippy. Yeah, but I like it, Riders on the Storm. And that's it. What a pleasure it was to talk about the Doors, LA Woman. I know I'm always excited to listen to almost all these records that I talk about, some more than others. But yeah, this is a good one. So there it is. For me, nothing has come close in the Doors discography to this one for me. This is the Doors, LA Woman.